Bugonia, the new Yorgos Lanthimos film. Now, Remington, I have been on a Yorgos Lanthimos kick the past couple of years. I have absolutely fallen in love with Yorgos and this whole adventure he's gone on with Emma Stone being his main collaborator. Poor Things was my favorite movie of 2023. And then in 2024, followed it up very quickly with Kinds of Kindness that, not a lot of people saw, flew under the radar quite a bit. I think partially because it was so quickly after Poor Things and all that movie success. And I think just because it was a 3-hour anthology, but I absolutely loved Kinds of Kindness. It made my top 10 of last year. But yeah, so then we get this news of Bugonia, this remake of the film, the old, I believe Japanese film or Korean film, Korean, Save the Green Planet.
Save the Planet.
Yeah, and heard the log line for this movie, and I thought, okay, well, this is going to be my favorite movie of the year. Obviously, just based on the premise, the director, the cast, Emma Stone coming back again, Jesse Plemons, just all of that. The trailer, I just was thinking, okay, this is made for me. This is like Jesse Plemons plays a conspiracy theorist with his cousin, and they kidnap Emma Stone, who is some sort of CEO at a pharmaceutical company, and because they think she's an alien. And I just thought, okay, well, this guy just follows me on Twitter apparently and just knows I'm gonna absolutely love this. That's all I was thinking. This is a movie made for me. Tell me what you thought about Bugonia.
So yeah, I've seen most of Yorgos's films at this point. Not all of them, and I do have a couple blind spots with like Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Favorite. But I do have the distinction of actually seeing some of his like earlier works that are still like from his like Greek language film days, like right. So I've seen like Dogtooth and I've seen Alps. Those are really interesting. You should check those out, especially since you find yourself really compelled by Yorgos. You should check out some of his like earlier works, particularly Dogtooth. Actually, that's a pretty good movie. So yeah, I was also eagerly anticipating this movie. I'd heard about this movie sometime last year. I was like, oh wow, I really need this to come out. This sounds very timely. I need to see this thing. And so I've been looking forward to it all year, especially since it did initially get good reviews coming out of, I want to say Venice is where it's premiered at. And so yeah, I was really looking forward to it. A fourth collaboration, I want to say, between him and Emma Stone, and like a second collaboration between him and Jesse Plemons. Want to see where they would take it. And yeah, I would say like 98% of the movie, I was like really loving it. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Right? This is everything that premise with this director that I would want it to be. Right? Just so much to say, compelling performances, interestingly shot, just everything I would want. And then we can talk about this. We get to that ending, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that ending. So I would love if we could get into it and what we think about that ending and where we want to go with that. Because that is what holds me back from truly loving the movie, I guess I could say. But I did really like it.
Okay. So I saw this movie the other night, when it came out. And those credits started rolling, and I rated it pretty quickly on Letterboxd. You know, I gave it an 8 out of 10. And you know, I can't remember the last time I was walking out of a movie thinking to myself, I actually don't really know how I feel about this. Even though I'm pretty quick to rate things early on Letterboxd and log them, even though I probably might need some more time to think about it. The more I think about Bugonia, I think I'm almost to the point where I'm doing a fully 180 on this movie. And thinking I don't, not that I don't like it. Here's my thing with Bugonia. So I kind of called everything that was going to happen in the movie. Every part of this movie went exactly how I thought it would go. And part of me is like, well, that's what I kind of wanted, right? I kind of got almost, Remington, we'll get into spoilers, almost to a T, everything went exactly how this is surely this is how it's going to go, right? And I got that. And then when I walked out and I kept thinking about it, I'm like, well, okay, that's what I kind of wanted, I guess. And then I think, but does it hold up? Are we just waiting for this reveal? How much did the journey really, to this point, really make me enjoy it? Yeah, so I actually think I think in the end, I still like the movie. I think I'm a little underwhelmed by it, though. I think my rating has gone down the more I think about it.
Interesting.
I guess we can just break the spoiler seal right away. I knew going in, I thought to myself, okay, clearly this movie's going to end with her being an alien, right? And I thought, not only is it going to end with her being an alien, they're going to play it up until the very end. We're going to keep getting, fake out after fake out after fake out. It's going to go until the very last minute. And then it's going to be revealed that I knew that from the trailer, Remington. That's the movie. Like, I had the movie in my mind. Yeah. When I saw the trailer. And then, yeah.
It's funny to me that you're like, yeah, I knew exactly how this was going to go. Because that's almost identical to the experience that I had. Right? I was like, because this is kind of like
it's
how
thing.
These things work, usually. Like, not even just Yorgos. Like, this is how these things
not even him.
Go, right? Where you have a film or even an episode of television where it's like characters have made a bold choice or a strong accusation. And so the drama, the tension of the remaining story is, were they correct? And so you're going to be constantly introduced with information about that makes you waver back and forth. Oh, are they correct? Are they not correct? And then usually, so you have like a twist or a surprise reveal that leaves you in your seat when credits roll, going, oh, wow, oh my God. There's a third act surprise that kind of upends everything that you had been leaning towards or building to. So there's a very common structure for this type of story. So for me, I was just like, oh, so are they going to do the thing where you think, oh yeah, she's definitely not an alien all the way, and at the very end they're going to be like, actually, bloop bloop, she is an alien. And I was like, oh, are they? I said the whole movie, like, are they doing this? Are they doing this? Seem like she's an alien. Are they doing this? Seem like they're leading human. Are they doing this? Are they doing this? And I was like, oh, they are doing this. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that.
and you know, but it also it's weird because yeah, I don't even know what I've never felt more like conflicted about coming out of a movie like this, or just this weird reaction of, I mean, it would be more, number one, it would be more shocking if she wasn't an alien, and to me, and number two, like that has to be the reveal, right? That they were right. Like that's got to be, like, I don't know how. I couldn't. That would be more surprising to me if it didn't end on a weird note. I think the movie would be less weird if it didn't end on that. And the how much they teed it out. I knew the beats it was going to go when they do the when he comes back and Emma Stone has that big like monologue of like telling him, oh, this is how. I felt like I don't know, I'm trying to not sound like I'm like too smart, but I felt like I was 2 steps ahead of the movie the entire time. Where when she's telling him all of the history of the aliens, I thought they're going to present this as an audience member. He wants me to think that she's still faking it. And she's just like using her wits of just making up some origin story for the aliens. And then when they go to her office, sure enough, that's what they want you to think, where she's playing with the calculator and it's like, oh, she's clearly just toying with him. And I even thought, I swear to God, Remington, I'm not lying. I even thought, I'm like, I bet you that calculator, that's actually, we're meant to think this is ridiculous, but no, that actually is the device. Like, I bet you that actually is a device. Like, we're meant to think that she's just fucking with him, and she's just, I knew it. I was like, there's gonna be something where it's a reveal that nope, that calculator actually. And I even had this picture in my head. I thought, here's, and maybe, and I thought about this in the most Yorgos way possible. I thought there's going to be this reveal where she goes back to her alien ship and it's going to be real. I didn't really know how, but and I even thought to myself, and the movie's going to end with the aliens like blowing up the earth or like ending the world. And sure enough, that's what happened. Not blowing it up, but I thought like that is going to be the end of the movie. And so I was like, kind of, but I thought like in my head, I'm like, you know, because I'm a degenerate, I'm like, well, that sounds fucking awesome. And then, but the more I thought about, yeah, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, yeah, aliens, yeah, fuck yeah. I just don't know what I really got out of this movie. It felt very, like, see, people are saying this movie is weird. I think that is like, I'm like, I don't know if you've never seen another, but like, this is the least weird movie I've ever seen in hindsight. This is the most paint by numbers. I don't think there was a lot of depth in hindsight to almost anything. I thought Emma Stone was playing CEO girl boss, you know, soulless, and there were some funny lines, you know, when she uses like the let's start a dialogue, like that was the funny, like, ooh, cringe, like you wanted to, you know, that was a good scene. And they're great actors, Jesse Plemons, Emma Stone. Emma Stone's my favorite actress working today. They're amazing at what they're given, but in hindsight, I feel like this movie doesn't have much to say. And I just don't think this is the movie that I feel like people are accusing Eddington of being. That's my take. That is my take on Bugonia.
So, I'm going to start this off by saying that I do think I want to watch it again.
Okay.
To fully cement how I feel, knowing what we know, how it ends. Like, does that bring more things into focus? You know, just like watching it straight, so that when there's no question of how you know what is then revealed to us. Getting that out of the way, I would say I would disagree. I think this movie actually has a lot to say, even with the ending, perhaps the more predictable structure, which maybe I found why the ending, which is maybe why the ending was initially frustrating for me. But I think it works. I haven't fully decided. Like I said, I need to see the movie again. But I think it works. But the movie is saying, knowing what we know about the ending, is the world is falling apart. We have created these systems that have allowed these people, this select few, to take control over us and essentially make everything worse. These mega corporations, and it's through these systems, be it capitalism, be it neoliberalism, globalization, etc. Throw in any word you want. That these elaborate systems that cause us to be divided, to be unfocused, and to just not really see the enemy in front of our eyes. To be siloed off at all, and that even those is so deeply entrenched and just such a fact, right? That you to try to see the threat, to do anything about it, you are essentially rendered the conspiracy theorist. You sound crazy. And to even do anything about it, you look crazy. And perhaps maybe you have to be a bit crazy to even attempt it. But because these systems are so entrenched, you will probably not succeed. And that is the bleak message of the ending. You will not succeed. You probably can't succeed. And just as you won't succeed, that is emblematic of humanity as a whole. That we fucked ourselves, and the only end is the destruction of the planet. And that's why we have the hyperfixation on bees and their downfall, and how that is kind of like the poison pill to like our entire ecosystem as a species. And so that's what I think is getting at, and more specifically, when it comes to what we're dealing with aliens here, and you can kind of pick this up as you listen.
I
What
know.
we're
I
saying
feel like I know
about
what you're gonna say. Go ahead. Sorry.
who the aliens are, well, it's these CEOs, right? That's what we're with their corporate speak and their synergy and their slogans, and their boardroom talk, and their you work in HR, you have to put out these little phrases all the time, right? Like you talk in these ways that are kind of dehumanizing and depersonalizing and sanitized, and are meant to convey something without fully conveying it, and are meant to be plausibly passable in polite conversation, even though we all know what they really mean. That that is alienating. That is to be the alien. You are so rich and so far removed from everyone else, and you speak in this inaccessible Byzantine language that no one else does. You are the alien,
You
and
might as
because you are
you
so
right.
wealthy and powerful, you need to be stopped. So that's why I disagree. I say that it actually has much to say, and that my problems come down to whether or not I am convinced that it works in its execution.
I get. I don't even want to say I disagree. Because I don't. I get what you mean. The whole idea of you are so rich and powerful and living in a different reality, you might as well be an alien. And I do, and I like that. I like that. I see that more, in America, as we talk about like, have you heard about? I don't know. I'm using not to get too into like the real world and stuff, but like I keep hearing this story about they talk about like when we were growing up, like what was the big thing when you were a kid? Like, oh, I want to go to Disneyland. I want to go to like, it was like, oh, every parent's like, oh, they got to bring their kids to Disney World at least once, or Disneyland, take that vacation. And now it's become so expensive. I think this was like maybe a New York Times piece or something recently, or it was like basically like how much it cost for like a family of 4 to go to Disney World now, especially with like travel. It's essentially so emblematic of America has now become a country for two different types of people, like literally just two different classes. Like you are either having this experience in America, like the idea of like going to Disney World is like you have to have money. Like I feel that so much in the country now, where it's just you are either living life as someone who is so, I mean, you live in New York City, like, you know, you either you are living an amazing life where you can go out to brunch every weekend and take very Instagrammable pictures and go to Coachella every year, you know, and like live this very Instagrammable life of America, like, or like you can't, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like that's what our country is becoming. You know, it's very cut into half in that sense, and I like that. And I like the thing about the bees. Like that metaphor, like all of it works. I think the movie works in what it's trying to do. I just don't think it's I don't know how to put it. I almost think it's almost a little obvious in what, like, it almost feels like there's not enough. Maybe I'm putting too much on it. I expect too much complexity in it. Or there needed to be more character stuff. Like it works, but at the end of the day, it's just, yes, corporations bad, CEO bad. Like that's kind of what I almost felt like when thinking about it more. It just is a little surface level on that, in that respect. Like the structure and the story works, what it's trying to do works, but it's clearly trying to say something and communicate something. Like what you said in the beginning of what you were talking about, like, you know, oh, you're meant to seem like a conspiracy theorist. If you, I don't think it's a very controversial opinion these days that, like, you know, these big corporations are bad, or like bad, and you know, these CEOs, like, they're living. I don't think any of this is very controversial to think, honestly. So I don't know. I just feel like there wasn't, like, and there's also this criticism. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you know, he's a conspiracy theorist not because he thinks corporations are bad. It's because he thinks aliens run the planet, right? And aliens are controlling everything and ruining everyone's life. And that he's gone to the point to where he thinks that he's like studied their customs and mapped their homeland and knows how their ships work and he can diagram their ships. He's gone to the point to where he's going around murdering people so he can try to dissect their bodies and study their responses to like electroshock, right? He's a conspiracy theorist because he's deep in the subreddits, right? Having these esoteric conversations that normal people can't parse through because he's gone down his own unreality tunnel. And it's only as we find out that it's like, no, like he's correct. And we have to sit with that he is correct. And it's easy to go, oh, that's a Hollywood ending, right? They just wanted to shock us with something and send us home. I know that it is. And I wonder, and maybe I just need to see this in the movie a second time to be sure, but I do wonder if that feeling that you and I have about predictability here is just because we've seen a million things and we've kind of seen stuff that works like this before. So
Sure.
It feels predictable to us. Maybe it doesn't to the average person. And even just because, even though I know where the movie Titanic is a predictable movie, can we agree? Yeah. We know what's going to happen. We know where this is going to go, but we like it because of the journey along the way and the emotions that we felt along the way and the spectacle, right? So if we evaluate Bugonia on those terms, did you have fun? Were the performances good? We agree that there are ideas now that we've talked a little bit about that more.
I think,
like, what do you see that's there?
I've thought about this a lot. You know, I think you're hitting on something good where, like, yeah, like, was it predictable? Yes. That's not like, I wanted her to be an alien, right? I wanted to see like the alien spaceship. Like I wanted that, you know, that's why like I rated it so high. I'm like, well, this is like literally the movie I wanted. Right. That's why I was like, so like, I was like, I don't know. I loved this, right? Like in my head, like I'm like, I loved this, didn't I? And like, it all works. But the journey to get there, I don't think had like a movie with arguably much less on its mind. Let's try this. Something like from this year, Weapons. I thought to myself, you know, when I'm looking at Weapons and I think about Weapons, I think, you know, well, does it does it have a lot of rewatchability when you know where the movie's going to go? Is it leading to that like third act like reveal? Sure. But I do think, not like an ideas, but I do think in a movie like Weapons, the characters are very enjoyable, watching them along the way and their individual stories and their little bit of development they all get along the way in their different chapters. So I do think Weapons works on a second viewing, even if you know where it's going. It's not all leading up to that twist, right? And I think with something like Bugonia, I don't know. Like, while again, I think it all works and where it goes, I just feel like, especially in the case of like Emma Stone's character, as much as she is just giving a powerhouse performance and doing everything, she's just so great. She's so great. I mean, shaving her head, doing the whole literally looking like an alien, so good. But it's just, there's not much complexity to her. I feel like she mostly is a stand-in. She's not a character. She's a stand-in for an idea. She's just like, there's no complexity to her. She's just stereotypical CEO generic girl, like, and to the point where she literally says like, I'm like, she's just pure evil, right? And Jesse Plemons, he is like, he's the more sympathetic. Like, the whole movie, I'm like, yeah, he might be some crazy conspiracy theorist that's on Rumble all day, but I'm like, yeah, I'm with him, but I don't think, but there's also there's an interesting other side of this movie, which I'm sure you've heard people talk about, where it's like, well, is this movie really saying, which I'm not casting any judgment based on this, but like, people are saying like, well, like, is this movie kind of saying that like, well, conspiracy theories are correct? Like, are they saying that like, we should have all been very skeptical of like COVID vaccines, and like stuff like, what I mean? Like that type of thing, like the right-wing conspiracy theorists, like, should we have all been like, were they like, do they have reason to be correct? And like, I don't know. I just like, there is a complexity there, but the movie isn't interested in that. Like, it's not just, it just felt,
I don't agree.
It feels surface level. It feels surface level to me. It really does.
I don't
ahead,
agree.
Yeah, let me hear.
Whether it,
I don't have
yes,
a problem.
There is probably a separate ethical discussion about how does this movie fit in with the larger conversation that we've been having in this country about like the free flow of information and the breakdown in consensus and just the overall rise in spirituality. Certainly. But I wouldn't agree that the movie is disinterested in this, right? Doesn't Jesse Plemons have a line that's like, alt-right, liberal, communist? I ran the full gamut, the full spectrum. I just couldn't find answers, right? And then I finally found this, and I learned more about this, and this seemed to say something. Like, I'm probably paraphrasing it, misquoting it.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But you know what I'm seizing on. Like, I think the conversation is there. And you said, well, these characters are not complex; they are an idea. Well, what does the idea mean to you? Does it say anything to you? What do you see there? And I think that, like,
I mean, I
think we're also shortchanging. I forget the actor's name, but the third actor who's cousin in the regular mix, the cousin who plays the Don. Like the intellectually disabled cousin,
Aiden DeBelia, who it's his first role. Aiden Delbia,
something.
Delbia,
Aiden Delbis. I'm not seeing an A in there, but maybe my thing's spelled.
Oh, the guy that. No, you're right, Delbis, the guy that plays Don.
Okay, yes, Don. I think that his character is actually quite complex, right? He has to straight man all of this insanity, and you are essentially left to watch him struggle with what he thinks and what he wants to do, right? Because he spends the whole movie being like, well, Teddy's the person who looks after me. He's kind of the only person I have left. I should listen to him. He's my only friend. But what he's saying is kind of crazy. And I don't know if we can actually achieve the things that he thinks we should achieve. And it seems to be asking a lot of me. And I don't know if I want to give that up, but I guess I will. He's very clear. He's such strong conviction that, like, no, this is how we have to do it, what needs to be done. But I don't know if this is going to work. Oh, it really doesn't seem it's going to work. Do I have any way out? Have I ruined my life? You are left to like watch those internal struggles. Like I do think there is depth to that character, and I don't know. I think you're shortchanging it, and I'm saying this as someone who's was uncertain how he felt when he left the movie theater and was leaning towards like I don't know if I like this movie, and maybe talking it through, we're gonna flip on each other. And I'm going to leave more positive, and you're going to leave more negative. But like, yeah, I think that's where I'm coming. I think I want to see it again to really know what I think about it. But if you want to get into like the separate question about like, do we think it's endorsing conspiracy? I guess we can.
I don't think it is. No, I'm not. No. I don't think it is, and I don't think that's an issue. I don't care. Like, I don't put movies on like that pedestal. I guess I just know that's been a topic of conversation, but I would like it. I think it would be more interesting if the movie. I don't know what that would even look like. Kind of got into that more is my point. Like, I'm not saying it's unethical. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm going to make my own decision. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to, I just think like that would be a little bit more interesting because it's trying to be a movie. What would I say? It's trying to be a movie of the moment, kind of, but it just.
I mean, it quite literally is.
Yes, it
right?
just
like,
yes, it just
plays. There's other than Eddington, I would say there's no other movie that is so of the moment that's been released this year.
I just don't think there's much when you get down to it. There's not much more than like CEO billionaire bad. And I just don't know if what is on display is doing enough to make it more interesting than that. And which I don't even necessarily disagree with that sentiment. I just in the end, and it's like at the end of the day, I would still say this is a good movie. I would not like my worst conclusion. I would not say this is a bad movie. I think it's a good movie. I just feel like there was more to be done with this premise, and it feels kind of like an outline, and I just wanted more. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It just, it did feel like, and I did hear this, but I do feel like it is a little bit when you go through the journey, like we said, like how it really, like the ending is whatever, like, but do you enjoy the journey of what you went through? It did kind of just feel like a back and forth of, yeah, they just do kind of have the same confrontation over and over again of, are you an alien? No. Are you an alien? No. Look, I'm very powerful. Were there some great dialogue in there and great performances? Yes. Like Emma Stone, like having the minute she says dialogue, let's start a dialogue, I thought, oh my God, fucking shoot her. Like at the minute, like everyone was like, and he throws the chair. I was like, yeah, I'm on your side, Plemons. I'm on your side. The minute she says that, he knew exactly what to push the button of. But yeah, like it was funny and it was good. And like, yeah, Plemons goes, yeah, he's like, what do you think this is? Death of a Salesman or something? I don't know. It was very good. But like at the end of the day, when this movie is clearly trying to say something, and I think the structure all worked and the ending worked, but I just thought, well, to get to that, I just thought, I don't know, man. Like it's a little, especially in the same year Eddington came out and felt like it was so much more. I felt like the more I appreciate Eddington, the more I think of it, where it just felt like the lazy interpretation of Eddington, not to rehash this, is Ari Aster just throwing up his hands and saying, well, isn't both sides crazy? Everything's just crazy. Let's disengage. I feel like Eddington is like someone that just doesn't know what to do with the world, just screaming. I feel like Eddington is Ari Aster screaming, just like this cathartic, like, we are like, this is fucked, but there's like an aggression behind it. There's fucking aggression behind Eddington, and there's also character in Joaquin Phoenix. Like, this guy is fucked. Here's how he's fucked. Here's the details of how he's fucked. Like, with this Bugonia, it does, and God, this is the laziest criticism you could have of a movie in the past. I feel I'm about to throw out the most lazy critique of any movie you could have in the past like 15 years. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Sure.
It's a little bit of an unbaked Black Mirror episode. Mic drop.
No.
It's a little underbaked Black Mirror episode. That's what I'm going to say about Bugonia. I don't know. I just didn't. Okay, go ahead.
I don't agree. You don't think there's anything to be said about language or the human condition? Did that sweeping sequence in the end where we look over all of the dead bodies and all of the various forms that human life regularly takes just suddenly snuffed out? That didn't mean anything to you? That didn't provoke anything in you? That didn't
not in a very profound way. I thought it, like, I'm on his side. I'm on the side of like, yeah, this is all fucked, but I feel like the way it was all communicated was like in a very a very surface level way. At the end of the day, I just thought, okay, but like, yes, Emma Stone is.
You didn't think there's anything to be said here about power? You know, like
power bad, like billionaire corrupt, CEO corrupt, like they soulless, like that is like it's very that's what I think. I think Jesse Plemons, to your like, Plemons and Don have more interesting things in them, in their characters. I don't think it went in enough into them, and what we got of both of them was not enough.
It's the central dynamic. We start the movie with them, and the movie, and like the first act is mostly just them going through what they believe, what their plan is, and the like showing to us the seriousness of their commitment, basically, and also while setting up their existing dynamics. Like, I don't agree at all. And in fact, one of like the high points of the movie is when Don kills himself, right? Because he realizes it's hopeless. It's gone too far.
I agree.
I would say this is drama, baby. Right? Like. Yeah.
I don't know. I just, again, I don't even think, I'm not even, when I say I'm almost doing a 180, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I think it works. I just think when we're getting a lot of movies right now that are kind of in like the moment in one way or another, this it just underwhelmed me a little bit. I just need a little bit more to chew on. And while I think the performances were amazing, like, I don't even necessarily disagree. Like, I need, and it's more like you've heard, here, perfect example. This was, which I wasn't aware until after, this was written by Will Tracy, who wrote The Menu, right?
And May December, I want to say, right?
Oh, did he?
May December. Just remembering that.
No, he just wrote The Menu. He did not. No, he did not write May December. I'm on Letterboxd.
Wrote May December.
I'm not sure. Who wrote May December? Who wrote May December?
Oh, that was Sam Birch. I'm sorry. Birch. Okay. Scratch that. You're right. Go ahead.
But yeah, so anyway, so my point being, The Menu was a movie that, like, I thought was fine. Like, as a thriller drama, I thought worked. But at the end of the day, like, thematically, I thought it was a little weak. I thought it was kind of just, it's generic eat the rich. Something like Parasite, I think, does a lot better because the characters are more dynamic. There's a lot more going on in a movie like that, where the menu felt a little bit more surface level, like it almost lazy. Just go eat, like an Eat the Rich type movie. Like, while I do like the menu, I thought it was a good, effective thriller. I didn't think the themes were all that deep, or they were just a little obvious. And that's kind of what I'm feeling with Bugonia, but in a Lanthimos type of, there's not it. Yeah, that's kind of where I come down to on it. It's a little too obvious. Not or I should here's what I'll say. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. It's better than an Eat the Rich movie where there is more going on there, but it doesn't go far enough, I guess. That's where I come down on.
All right, you and me, we're gonna go see this again.
Okay.
Like together. Like
Holding
let's make a
hands.
date. Yes, and we'll come out on the other side and see where we really land.
Okay.
Because I think you're shortchanging it. You might say that I'm not overhyping it. We've both seen it before, but you know, being too overselling and be too forgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see this again whenever it drops on streaming. We'll get Gene to join us, maybe have a little bit of a movie night.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens.
Nice.
Because
yeah,
I think there's more there than you're giving credit for.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. And look, I'm still torn. I'm still like, I do think there is, like I said, I do think there is more with Plemons' character and his cousin and Don. I think, but I just, I think it should have went further. Also, I am going to petition. I never want to see another comedian ever again. Can you tell me what you thought about that? The minute I started listening to reviews and people started talking about, like, what's his? Oh, how do you say his name? The cop? Do you know
Stavros.
Savros or whatever?
Stavros Halkias or something like that.
Yeah, and like he was actually just recently on. I listened to the Blank Check podcast with Griffin and David. He was just on. They're doing a Coen Brothers series. He was just on there talking about that, and he, seems like a cool dude, whatever. And and I just I never listened to Come Town. That's his podcast, and people were like already going, well, he was kind of like manosphere adjacent, and it was kind of interesting that he kind of played a character in this movie, and maybe that's like a meta commentary on his like being in the manosphere, and like that's kind of, and I just wanted to be like, I'm sorry, I don't care, never put another comedian in a movie again. I just don't care. I don't even care if he's good. I don't care. I don't want to hear about this meta shit about I'm sorry, I hate comedians. Go ahead.
A lot of them suck. I actually like Stavros. I'm not like super familiar with his work, but he's an Astoria native. You can see him around here. You can just see him like having coffee like anytime. Somewhere.
This was the day. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No. So actually, I liked him in the movie. I thought he was funny.
Was good.
I thought that he really mastered the rhythm of cop speak, in the way that cops have a certain way of conducting themselves in public when they're trying to cozy up to you, a little bit. And so, yeah, I like his performance, but it's just a general sentiment. Yes, many comedians annoy me. I don't like them. The state of the profession is in questionable territory these days. So just as a general statement, not applying to Stavros, completely co-sign, support 100%. I'm in your corner, inshallah.
Yeah. I think that was I think that was literally the day I saw the viral picture of him standing with AOC and Zoran, and I'm like, I don't care that a comedian is endorsing anyone. I don't care. Even if he's on my side, I don't care.
They're both Astoria politicians, and he's an Astoria celebrity.
I know. I just hate. The comedians should be. I vote me for president. I will ban every comedian, even if I like them, from having a podcast. Anyway, all right. Well, that's Bugonia. Also, bring back good movie posters. That's a great movie poster, Bugonia. Yorgos, always amazing movie posters. That's a compliment. I'll give it.
I agree. Bring back good movie posters.